Morning, everyone. It is 8:30. Notice is hereby given of a regular meeting of the City of San Angelo Development Corporation to be held on October 11th at 8:30 a.m. at the East Mezzanine of City Hall, 72 West College Avenue, San Angelo, Texas, for the purpose of considering the following agenda items. Number one, we'll call the meeting to order. It is 8:30. Number two, Director Ceballos, will you lead us in prayer, please?
Dear Lord, thank you for giving us the opportunity to gather here today, giving us another day in the paradise of San Angelo, Texas. We continue to pray for those affected by Hurricane Ian, and we serve in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Number three, public comment. Issue or items that are not on the agenda may be raised by the public at this time. Citizens should speak from the podium, begin by stating their name, and limit remarks to less than 3 minutes. Board members may request that a discussed item be placed on a future agenda. The board takes public comments on all regular agenda items during the discussion of those items. Do we have any public comment? No? Okay. It is 8:31. We'll move on to number four, regular agenda. Item A, consider approving a resolution authorizing a project under chapters 501 and 505 of the Texas Local Government Code to utilize sales and use tax funds in an amount not to exceed $75,000 to Rosenberger Site Solutions LLC for a project related to business enterprises that create or retain primary jobs, subject to City Council approval, and authorizing the board president to negotiate and execute all necessary documents.
Good morning, Mr. President, Board. Thank you so much for coming. This is a special meeting, but it's also a bit of a special occasion. We read a lot about companies from up north relocating to the or blue states to red states, if you will, and this happens to be one of those, and we're very happy to have this company looking at San Angelo. The company's name is Rosenberger Site Solutions, LLC. They are a manufacturer of electronic components, communications components, mainly for communications towers and that sort of thing. They build a lot of the connectors and specialized equipment for those towers. They employ about 100 people nationwide, and they're going to look at relocating a portion of their operation here to San Angelo. They're headquartered in Akron, Pennsylvania, which is eastern Pennsylvania. I believe the headquarters is going to stay there, at least for the time being, but a portion of that operation, the manufacturing portion, is going to be relocating to San Angelo, which puts them right in our wheelhouse. They are a manufacturer. They're an eligible NAICS code. They're looking at approximately $570,000 worth of equipment that they'll either be relocating or purchasing. They've leased a facility on Tractor Trail within the city limits. They have about $250,000 in tenant improvements that they're proposing to do to that building. And ultimately, they'll employ 25 to 30, or initially they'll employ about 25 to 30 personnel, most of whom will be hired locally. And there is a potential for a significant expansion. There's a building just across the street that is vacant, that would be ideal for them. It's got a large clean room, almost set up for a company like theirs. Come on. Staff is proposing incentives the total amount of $75,000. That would be divided into three main categories. A moving and tenant improvements incentive, which is basically a capital improvements incentive of $30,000. Job creation at $1,000 per full-time employee for up to 20 employees. That would be an additional $20,000. And then a tax reimbursement over 3 years that would be a reimbursement of actual taxes paid, not to exceed $25,000. So again, the total incentive is $75,000. The job creation is going to be based on $35,000 per full-time, what we call full-time equivalent. So a $70,000 job would actually be 2 FTEs. Once incentivized, they'll have to maintain those jobs for a minimum of 3 years from the date that they first fill that job. And it's jobs, not employees. That's worth mentioning. The employee can change, but as long as they keep the job filled, they've met their requirement. And again, tax reimbursement will be based on actual business personal property taxes paid for a total of 3 years. The total amount not to exceed $25,000. Again, the total incentive is $75,000. And the return on this, at a bare minimum, the payback would be in the neighborhood of 8 years, but that's based on 20 employees. We're looking at 25 to 30. Again, we try to be very conservative when we're evaluating the return on these things. And of course, if they expand, then all bets are off. It just goes down from there. At this time, take any questions.
Any questions from the board? No? Okay. So at this point, we need to open up to public comment for any feedback? Or we just
I'll go ahead and do a motion and then
Motion to approve.
public comment.
So moved.
All right. So we have a motion by Director Ceballos, second by Director Spano. Any discussion from the board? No? All those in favor say aye.
Well, let's do public comment.
I'm sorry?
Let's do public comment and then.
Okay, then we do public comment. Okay, sounds good. We'll open it up to public comment. It is 8:37. Do we have any public comment? No? Okay, seeing none, then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you so much.
All right, number 5, follow-up and administrative issues. I believe we have none. Right? Okay.
Max, I do have one special thanks to Nora and Bob. I was out of town last week, and when Michael called and said the company was ready to move ahead, they just called me and said, we're ready to move ahead, need to call a special meeting. They handled all this. So a big thanks to Nora and Bob for putting all this together.
All right, kudos.
Yeah, no doubt. Thank you.
And that would be more Nora than Bob, obviously.
We already knew that. We knew.
Sounds good. Well, without anything else, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Motion carries. It is 8:38. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.